this queen, why does she have so much power? First off, like, we should be questioning what's happening.
She's doing nothing but worrying about a woman who has a gossip column. Like, go run your country.
Yeah. How's everyone doing in this country? Are people eating? Who knows?
Is there inflation? What's the cost of living? Like,
That's what I wanted. I'd watch that season over and over.
Like, how is the like unemployment rate?
Yeah.
Right? Are your serfs fed? Like
the Marie Antoinette version of Bridgerton. When? 2026. Let's watch that one.
I would watch it. That sounds great. Yeah. Oh, okay. Let's take a deep breath because I cannot breathe from my nose. So I have to like hold my breath for a long time.
Don't pass out.
I'll try not to. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Fangirl Feels podcast. My name's Olivia.
My name's Tanya.
And we're the podcast where we're just two friends who dish about all the books, shows, movies that we're obsessed with. And I'm going to apologize now in advance that I am on my deathbed. No, I'm not on my deathbed. I'm sick. I sound worse than I feel. I feel a little run down, but I'm experiencing one of those summer colds that people get. So I apologize in advance.
Olivia left her house and immediately got sick.
Yeah. This is a PSA. Don't go outside. Don't do that.
It's overrated.
It is overrated. Don't be extroverted, guys. Stay home. Save your body the viruses. I say this as I'm about to go on an international trip. And if this is what happened when I went outside like more than once in a row, what's going to happen? Like
on the plane, abroad, you just don't know, man.
I don't know. My immune system better be like working overdrive right now to prepare. Truly.
Drink all the orange juice.
Oh, good idea.
Gummy Vites.
Yeah. I'm about to go do that. I'm about to go buy some.
Olivia was just telling me that before her trip, she goes on the pilgrimage to Target, which we all do, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, this is like a requirement. It is like in the travel playbook. You have to like go to Target. Yeah.
It's like required. Immigration asks you, like, did you go to Target for this trip? It's like, yeah, I did.
You can't leave the country unless you went to Target and spent a minimum of $50. $50 would be a good Target trip for me. Like I spent like 100 something last time.
Same. It's insane because it's like, oh, I'm getting this baby tubes, and it's like $200 later.
Somehow I bought like all this sunscreen because we're going to the beach, and I bought like I had to like renew, of course, like all my skincare went out of stock, or I ran out of it, so I had to buy all my new skincare again. So it was a hefty bill. You just feel better about your life in a Target, honestly.
It's true. So PSA, only go to Target.
Yes, don't go anywhere else, my friends. And if you're about to go on a trip, see you at Target. See you there. Target sponsor us.
We wish.
That would be really nice. I'm their best. Like they gave me a $5 gift card like a month ago because I spent like $400. I didn't spend $400. It was like 100. And they were like, here's a $5 gift card. I'm like, this is silly, but also thank you.
That'll get you a pack of gum.
Literally. And I used it this last time. I was like, wow, $5 off my bill. I am a discount. Like I'm one of those like coupon like cutters. I'm so good.
You save so much. Every cent.
Every cent. So good at this. My mom would be proud.
Is she the coupon queen?
No, she's not. But she's always like she's like responsible when it comes to these things. So she's like, oh, I'll wait till this goes on sale, or like she's good about those things. She's not like couponing necessarily. But meanwhile, I'm like, I want it now, full price.
Right. Convenience.
Yeah. Convenience.
That's what I'm paying for. Maybe it's an immigrant parent thing where they are frugal and they will go to like Costco and get in bulk, but you won't use. Yeah. You're like, we don't need 40 mangoes at once. Can we stop?
But it's cheaper.
They save $2.
They save $2. But at the same time, to me, like the way I look at it too, I'm like, but you paid more up front because it's like you bought in bulk. So it was still cheap, or it was still more expensive than buying just like a few mangoes,
Yes.
Like just because the price per mango is less, you still paid more.
Economics.
Yeah, it's tough, man. I'm like, can't eat that many mangoes.
And they pawn them off to us. Here's our mangoes. We're like, we don't want your old mangoes.
You shouldn't have bought this many mangoes.
They never learn.
No.
Meanwhile, we're also problematic going to Target, spending all of our money.
Spending $150 for no reason. Like, stupid. But I have fun doing it.
And that's what matters. Yeah, I'm glad.
You. Thanks so much. It helps with the sickness. I actually didn't buy any medicine when I was there, even though I should have, but I did not. I was like, I'm going to buy my Curology instead.
You walked in, you saw that dollar bin area, and you're like, I'm cured.
Yeah, I love that dollar area. I've bought stupid stuff because it's $1. I'm like, do I need this? No, but it's $1. So we're going to find a use for it.
Immediately. It's like disintegrating, whatever it is.
I've literally just bought things I do not need, but I just like it because it's $1. I don't know. I'm so stupid.
I'm the same way. They get me and they put it up front. They're smart.
They are smart. They get it. They get it. Yeah. Well, it's been a while since we've caught up because we had a little mini hiatus. And then this is our first episode until another kind of hiatus for a little bit as I go on these travels. So, but like, let's catch people up. What have you been up to, Tanya? What have you been reading, watching, all of that?
Yeah, a lot to catch up on. This is like our summer break era. This will probably happen every summer. So just so you all know, but I was gone. I was gone for 2 weeks. I was in California for my sister. She was having another baby and she had a baby and she's very cute. I am another Masi. So we talked about this if you are a longtime listener of our podcast. In both of our cultures, we call the way you're related to someone changes depending on if it's from your brother's side, a man's side, or a woman's side. And so on my sister's side, I am a Masi of 3. My brother's side, I'm a Fia of 2. So Masis are winning.
That's the best. To be the sister, the mom's sister, aunt is objectively the best, I think.
There has to be science behind this. It's true.
Yeah. It's like almost like I don't want to offend anybody, but it's just objectively true. To be the mom's sister aunt versus the dad's sister aunt. It just is.
Like, love those kids, but I kind of look like my sister, right? So they're like, oh my gosh, this is my mom. And I'm like, I'm just your super fun aunt, and it's great.
Yeah. And I think it's just because like girls are closer too. So you're always closer to the mom. So then that makes you closer to the kids. At least this is my experience. I don't know. Yeah.
Yes. Exactly right. That's written in science books. Yes.
It is written in science books. Yeah. Be the mom's sister aunt. There's no word for that in English. Yeah, they don't have like a word.
I know. Do you ever see those posts where it's like this beautiful word in Japanese means like this thing that can't be described in English? Just like, where did we mess up?
Yeah, we just like made it more complicated. You have to say your mom's sister. Not, like what was the word? How did you say it?
Masi. I'm a Masi.
Or like khalto in Arabic. Like, yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
They're missing out.
They are missing out. English, you hear it? Excuse me? English?
But so anyways, back to what I was saying. I was also there for a comedy festival. I had applied to a comedy festival called Laugh Right Girl, and I got in, and it was funny because I didn't think I'd get in because it's in LA. I'm like, oh, Hollywood. But I just applied because I knew I'd be there, and the timing just worked out. It was kind of kismet. And so I was there. I did 1 week of like doing comedy shows. I went to open mics, performed on my actual show. And then the next week was dedicated to spending more time with family. So I got the best of both worlds. And now I feel post-travel depression. It was just like so much dopamine all at once. And I really liked the food out there. The people were really nice. And yeah.
That's good. I know, that's so cool that you got in. That's so super cool. What a cool experience. Do you think you would do more of those, like at that exact show, or like apply to more over there?
I hope so. I like the specific show I was in, so maybe I'll keep applying next year. And so we'll see. Festivals are cool because you get to meet people outside of the bubbles that you're in the city that you live in. So like regularly, if you're a comic, you see the same people at open mics. You just, because you're constantly going to there's only a limited amount of open mics. And so when you go elsewhere, you're like, wow, you are from Portland. You are from Germany, another country entirely. And it's like, that's really cool to like, and it also see what life is like outside of your bubbles, just generally as like a rule of thumb. Like traveling helps with that. Like just seeing that how things can be potentially improved.
Yeah, that is cool. That's awesome. Like, I mean, that's like a big comedy scene. Like, I feel like LA is LA. Like, if there's going to be a comedy scene, it's LA, baby. Hollywood, baby.
It's Hollywood, baby. Right?
Hollywood,
that's
baby.
exactly where the Netflix is a joke comedy festival was, which
oh
like,
yeah,
everyone has heard of, and it happened like a month prior to me going. But yeah, like that's why in my mind I'm like everyone's gonna be rude, but actually like I've made friends through threads of like comics who are out there.
Yeah.
And they were all saying like it's people are actually nice. I think at a certain level it gets super competitive, but on like the level that I'm at currently, it's like we're all just trying to do this and survive.
Yeah, that makes sense. That totally makes sense. That's good. I'm glad. Yeah, I feel like it does have that reputation. So like, but I'm glad that was not your experience.
But in terms of what I've been consuming in terms of content, I have just this morning been able to borrow on Libby Lucy Foley's next book, Midnight Feast. And if you've been following our podcast, I love true crime / murder mystery / suspense. And she's like the queen at this moment of like mystery novels. So gonna read that, listen to that probably. And then I will just start mentioning like comedians that I'm into who are kind of on a smaller scale. There's this guy named Chris Fleming who's hilarious, and he has a bit out that I'll share to like our Instagram page so people can see it. But he has a bit out about like how like society has decided what attractiveness is in terms of men, and then all of a sudden Barry Keoghan comes out of nowhere, and everyone's like, "What is happening?" But he's attractive. But why do I think that? So
that is Sabrina Carpenter's boyfriend, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's an interesting case study. I mean, but there's a lot of men like that where you're like, you aren't attractive, but you are. Like, you know, like you're not on like you don't fit the beauty standard, but you are attractive. And I think like women are just more open to that than men are, you know? So we're like always for that. Because he is attractive, I agree.
I definitely think that it's why like the trend of like he doesn't have a dad bod, but like dad bods are hot, and men were like, "What? You don't want 6-packs?" I'm like, not really, like I don't care.
Yeah, half the time I find them kind of off-putting. Like, especially like on a dating app, if I see somebody and they're like showing it off, I'm like, I swipe left. Like I'm like, or whatever. What's the wrong one? Swipe left. Yeah. I haven't been on a dating app in years. Like a long time.
I was gonna ask, I'm like, are you dating?
No. I mean, like, we always try. You know, the whole like download the app, delete, download the app, delete. But it's been a while since I've been on them. Yeah. Like it's off-putting to me. The dad, like, yeah, the female gaze, man, it's not the muscles. I think that, I mean, it's personality. So yeah, humor is part of it for sure.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not funny, yeah, if you're not funny, then it's like, what are we talking about?
Finance? No.
Gross.
Yeah.
I'm looking for a man in finance. Have you seen that?
Yeah, it's like actually just kidding. Like,
yeah, actually,
the trend of like, I actually do just want to be a sugar baby. Like,
I am looking for a man in finance. Blue eyes, 6'5". Yeah. What is it? Looking for a man in finance. Trust fund. That's the most important.
Most important.
The most trust fund. 6'5", blue eyes. I agree. She's got it right.
But anyways, besides deleting the apps, what have you been up to, Olivia?
You know, a lot, and also it feels like nothing at the same time, but also a lot. In this past week, I got to go to like I did my first book pop-up, like where I sold my artwork this past week. And it was really exciting. There's a long story, but I ended up being able to pop up for an author, Hazelwood, who I do know on this podcast. I don't love her books, I'm going to be completely honest. And I think I've said this before, but was I happy to like vend at her event? Yes, absolutely. It was cool. Really cool group of people that were there, like really nice people. Everyone was very supportive of my artwork, and it was really cool. I was like, I'm going to do more of these like book events. And thankfully I live in a city where like apparently a lot of authors come through here. I did not know that. So it's like a cool place to be able to like do these things. So that was exciting. Also where I probably got sick when you're like in the room with like 300 people, you know, it's going to happen. Hazelwood, very popular, you know, who would have thought? It was like a 300 people sold out event and there was like a wait list. Hazelwood.
That's crazy for attendees or vendors or both?
For attendees. Yeah.
Gotcha. But that's really cool. I'm so proud of you. That's like such a cool experience. And now like you can put that on your resume. You can put that on your LinkedIn.
I didn't think about that, but I guess so. Like, I guess I could. It wasn't my first thought, but you're right. Yeah, it was cool. I want to do more too. Like, hopefully there's some more like authors coming, and like I'm on the list now to do these like events. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So that will be fun. That was a good like this past week that happened, and like then I got sick. But what have I been watching other than Bridgerton or reading? I am about to reread I'm finishing up Legendborn. Don't forget about that. Everyone listening, don't forget about that. I've been going kind of slower because our deadline now is like July 24th. I intend to finish that though. Obviously. I am gonna start I have a beach read that I also went to I've been going to a lot of events these past few weeks. I went and saw Christine Riccio at her author event here, and I got her book, Attached at the Hip. So I will be reading that this week at the beach, or next week at the beach, whenever I'm at the beach. I heard that's a good, like, you can finish it in like a day. So that's I intend to read that. And I'm going to reread Ember in the Ashes by Sabati here. I read this back in 2018. It was one of my favorite books I read that year. And Penguin is sending me their like paperbacks, and they're doing like a reread. So I'm like, yeah, I will reread them because I liked the first two books. The second two books I like fell off a little bit, but I don't know if I was just like in a bad headspace reading them. So I'm going to try and reread them. But that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm into these next few weeks. Also, I just feel the need to say this is like, have you seen the Hunger Games news?
No.
Oh, you haven't seen this? The Hunger Games, Suzanne Collins announced a new book. Did you read the Hunger Games? I don't know if
I did not.
Oh, okay. That might be part of it. Yeah. So I read the Hunger Games back in like high school, whenever they were. So I haven't read them since, but she announced a new book and a new movie, which is like a big deal in the Hunger Games world. So that's been on my feed.
That's wild. How is she? I'm wondering if it's connected to the original storyline.
It is. It's like a prequel. It's do you remember Katniss's like mentor, Haymitch? Do you remember? Did you see the movies?
Was it played by Lenny Kravitz, or was it
no, not Lenny Kravitz.
The white guy.
The white guy.
The white guy.
The white guy. His Hunger Games. It's about his Hunger Games.
Oh, okay, that's really cool.
Yeah. And it's what's it called? It has a cool name. Oh, Sunrise on the Reaping. Because I was like, it's a cool name. Sunrise on the Reaping. It's like, wow, that's very like melodic. It's a good name.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. I hope it's good because and there's a movie lined up. So
yeah, they literally announced the book. The book hasn't even released yet. It comes out 2025, and they announced the movie 2026. It's like, wow, Warner Brothers is like or whoever's producing it. I don't know who makes these movies. They're like we know these will be successful. So movie.
Wow. I'm impressed. It probably will be because it was a huge franchise. Yeah.
Yeah. I still need to watch the newer one, the like Songbirds and Snakes. I need to watch that one or read it too.
I didn't even realize. Is that a new book too?
It is a new book. It's about the president, like President Snow. It's like his backstory.
Dang.
Yeah.
Did she run out of money? Do you think
she's producing content. She just gets inspired by like she said like in this new book that like recent events have inspired her, and like a lot of her books are often like inspired by like propaganda and war. So I'm sure recent events have inspired her.
Recent events. I'm trying to buy an island. But that's fair, probably politically and everything. That makes sense.
I mean, I'm sure she has enough to buy an island at this point.
She's better with the what's it called, like the residual checks.
Yeah, I think she's doing fine. Hunger Games did so well.
Yeah,
like she's good. I would hope so.
Right,
otherwise she needs like a better agent or whatever.
Right, they're just taking it all, and she's like, I don't have any money.
That's not good.
You made billions. I don't know.
Yeah, you should have more money. Well, we can jump into our discussion on Bridgerton part 2. I have some points here of like the major things that happened, but overall, just a girly discussion on what occurred. The first thing I want to chat about, I didn't write this down, but the first thing I want to chat about is how do we feel about this like part 1 and part 2 setup? Because this seems to be Netflix's new thing. Because I know Emily in Paris, they're doing this also. Yeah, they're doing part 1 and part 2. And they did this with like The Witcher, I think.
That's true. They keep doing it. Yeah, why is Emily in Paris still happening? Everyone,
I don't
can
know.
we ask
I'm
society?
excited.
But it's like they're like Shadow and Bone, trash.
Yeah,
Emily in
it's true.
Paris, Emmy nominations.
It's true. It's what's objectively good isn't always what's successful. That is just the unfortunate reality of life, you know? Like, it's something we all need to remember when we're not doing very well. Doesn't mean it's not good. Sometimes it's just marketing. Like, truly.
It's true.
Yeah.
That's true. But to answer your question, the part 1, part 2 thing, it's unfortunate because like there's times where we want like a weekly drop.
Yeah.
This type of show, I just think we should drop it all at once. But I understand that they're trying to get people to keep their subscriptions. So I get it's like a business decision, but this show specifically didn't need 2 drops. What about you?
I agree. I feel like it lost a little bit of momentum for me. Like, I was excited. Like, I was like, yeah, excited for the part 1, and then like it being a month too. By the time part 2 came around, I was like, oh, okay, yeah. Like, I don't know. I feel like the momentum died, and then it didn't really pick back up. Like, it kind of was like, it was the second half is a lot lower of like excitement than the first half. Maybe also because the first part 1 was a little bit underwhelming in the end.
Yeah.
I do think like the second half was better, but yeah, I think I agree. I'm like, either do weekly drops, which I just think are the best model in the end, or like they're just yes, they prolong it, but like I think collectively we have more fun with it to like look forward to it every week. Or just this show is like you need 2 brain cells anyway, so just like just drop it. Just drop it all.
While we're on this topic, I mean, I think specifically, by the way, spoilers, by the way, but you knew this, but I thought they should have switched in terms of like the things that happened. They should have put the whistle down reveal to Colin at the first part, the end of the first part, and then put the wedding proposal towards switch it like towards the end, because I just felt like I was more like, oh my gosh, whistle down, he knows, like that's gonna ruin everything. I felt like that would make me more interested in coming back and more, but otherwise it felt like their marriage wasn't earned. I wanted more of a slow burn and them to fight for like their love. At one point he was like, we already like kind of had sex, so we're just gonna go through with the wedding because I'm a man of my word and whatnot. And I'm like, that's lame. But
I agree. Yeah, I totally agree. I feel like there was no like payoff. Their relationship to me didn't feel like the point of the season, which is different than like the other 2 seasons, especially the last season. Like Kate and Anthony were like the best. Like I think season 2 is going to just be the best season so far. Season 1 was not even as good. But yeah, it's like the payoff. There was no payoff. You get the engagement at the end of the part 1, and then they're unhappy in their marriage, and then everything's fine. Like they weren't the point. Like their relationship was not the point.
There were 57 other things happening in this season.
Quite literally. And to the point where some things disappeared. Like Lord Debling, gone. Bye. Disappeared.
Bye. He's traveling the world.
Yeah, he's just like, I'm out. Also the like that family, the family that's like become wealthy, what are their names? The Modricks
the Modricks.
The Modricks. They had a whole plot, and then that also kind of just like went away.
The whole thing was like, we got wealthy and are we gonna sell the bar? That was it.
Yeah.
And then they did. And it's like, the queen is so happy for you. And it's like, what? Why did we need like a several episode story arc for that?
Yeah. Like, why did we need to focus on this? That was so unnecessary. And then like, yeah, there's so many like side plots. What else? There was another one I was just thinking of. Well, the whole Benedict thing to me was also just like, whoa, random, but like, okay. So we're doing like Benedict, and we're doing Francesca, and we're doing Colin. Like, what's happened?
That's true. Yeah, the whole Francesca thing didn't need to happen. The sister that got married. And then like, again, like Benedict, the funniest thing to me is that like his whole multi-episode arc was like, I don't know if I want to have a threesome with these hot people. Meanwhile, his family is like falling to ruin, like literally about to be exploited. And he's like, "Ooh, they're so hot. I don't know." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, why was this included?"
I don't know. It had no character benefit whatsoever. It had no benefit whatsoever. No point. Like, I learned nothing about him. I don't think I learned anything about him. I mean, like, I don't want to give spoilers for the books, but I have seen some book spoilers on him, on his like future season, that I think that's maybe what they're trying to set up, but at the same time I'm like, unclear, unnecessary,
They're
very
like,
odd.
it's pride, it's a bi king, and then that's it.
That's it. That was all there was. Yeah, like it just was crammed. I don't think they needed to do that here. Like it just didn't need to happen in this way. And I feel like every time his season, or every time he's come up in any of the seasons, he's just like flirting with someone. That's all he does. Is just flirt with someone new.
That's such a good point. I forgot. Is he the eldest brother or is it Anthony?
Anthony's the eldest. He's the second because he's a B, Benedict.
Oh, I forgot about that. That little
That's how I know.
That's how you know.
That's how I know.
Because I was gonna say, yeah, he has like no worries or like responsibility in terms of the house, the estate.
Yeah.
So he's literally just doing whatever he wants. Like, remember when he was like painting for a while?
Yeah, what happened to that? What happened to his painting?
I was wondering because the guy asked him, like, are you into anything, hobbies? And he's like, nope. And I'm like, wait, you painted for a whole season.
Yeah, that was like his whole thing. So that's a good point. Like, what happened? What is he doing?
Yeah.
Like, at least Colin does more. Colin, like, travels.
Colin travels, hooking up with ladies in Paris. Again, these characters are so flat. The women, at least, like, have depth. I will say that. She wrote the women well. Maybe it was purposely. She's like, these men, I'm in my own book, I'm not even going to give depth.
Maybe I respect it.
Love it.
Maybe that's the case.
Maybe we all aspire to be.
Maybe we all aspire. But, like, I like Anthony. Like, I liked Anthony as a character. Like, I liked him. I don't really like Colin. Like, I don't feel anything towards him, honestly. I disliked him earlier in the season. I liked he had some good things to say in the end of this season. Like, he said all the right things at some point. Like, when he was, like, apologizing for her telling her to not be whistled down, like, in that last episode. I was like, you're saying all the right things, but I just, like, you're fine. Like, you're just kind of like an ornament in this whole thing. Like, I don't love you regardless.
I agree. Yeah, they really knocked it out of the park with Anthony and the Duke. To be honest, actually, that's fair too. Yeah, like the Duke and Anthony, and then like they either fell flat with Colin. And maybe there's too many Bridgertons. Maybe there's too many to give them all the time we all need to like grow to like them.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. I think like because Anthony was more of a focus in his season, Colin was not the focus on this. It was Penelope, which I do think we should focus on her, but then he was like, I don't know, he was just like not important. Like, he was just there.
If anything, I wanted way more of Eloise and Penelope together. Yeah, like being friends, recovering from that. Like that friendship is so beautiful, and Eloise is like a fan favorite across the board. I feel like.
I agree. Yeah, I'll be interested to see what happens with her. Like, and I like the moments where she talks about how like she's frustrated that everyone is pairing up, but like inevitably that she will probably end up pairing up. So I'm just very curious as to how her story is going to go, because obviously every single Bridgerton is going to find someone. So I'm interested.
Did you hear that like the only rule that the writer had, she gave them a lot of like creative liberties, but she said at the end of each of the seasons that the person has to end up with the person in the books, so they can't like go off script, which because I was a little upset about, because I'm like, maybe Penelope and Eloise are endgame and like that'd be a beautiful relationship.
Yeah,
they're just friends.
No, they're just friends. It makes sense from like the author's perspective. I feel like I would feel similarly. It was like, these are the characters and I want them to end with the characters I wrote, unless you just did a blatantly bad job. But I don't think she feels that way.
That's true. Yeah, Game of Thrones style.
Yeah, Game of Thrones. But yeah, I wonder. So it's like that'll be interesting to see like how they even do that when they've developed Eloise's character in such a way where she's very anti-marriage.
Yeah. And also, I wonder if they'll do something along the lines of like Pride and Prejudice, because like Elizabeth also was like not into getting married. So I'm curious if they'll bring a Darcy-esque character for
That's what
her.
she deserves. That is what she deserves. Only the best for her. She's the best one.
She's the best one.
Yeah.
Don't care about any of the other siblings after that. Like I don't even know the names of like there's a Hyacinth, I think, and then the boys I don't remember.
Yeah, Hyacinth, and then I think what's his name? Gregory? I want to say Gregory. That's the alphabet, right? A B C D E F G H. Yeah. That's the alphabet. I've heard Hyacinth's book because I've been on like Bridgerton TikTok. People have said that that's their favorite book. So her story may be more interesting than we realize, but she's so young right now. Like she's a baby. She's a wee baby.
A child, so it'll take years.
Yeah, literally. Francesca's story, we talked about this a little bit last episode in our part 1 about like how I'm confused. And I was like, okay, I think we're done with the confusion here. They just have like a nice soft love. Appreciate it. Like very cute. Violet is like the mom is, coming around to it. And then we have that moment in the end with Michaela, like John's brother or cousin, and you're like, and I will admit, like, I got a little bit frustrated because I know book readers are frustrated because apparently they gender swapped. Apparently, it was supposed to be a Michael, and it's like a Michael Sterling, but they changed it to a Michaela Sterling. I never read the book, so I don't. It doesn't matter to me. But the thing that does matter to me is like I don't like this representation of love. What matters to me is the fact that we're like maybe it was okay to show like I was coming to terms with the idea of like, yeah, it's nice to show that like love can manifest in different ways, but then it was like, no, it has to be like, oh my gosh, like you're like so head over heels, like you can't even speak. Like that was like the message I got, and I was like, I don't like that. I don't know.
Interesting. Oh, I didn't even realize. Okay, so the spoilers for other books, she's gonna get with the brother or the sister who was a brother in the books.
Yes, it was a cousin, but yes, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I did notice, and I was like, what are they trying to imply? Because even when they were getting married, Francesca kind of like looks down and makes like faces. And I'm like, they're implying something here with like, they're zooming into her face. She doesn't look like she really wants this marriage. But yeah, and then I just thought when she met the cousin, she was just like being awkward like herself. I didn't even catch on to that like she's like, oh my gosh, I'm into you.
Yeah, that it was like supposed to be a example of how she like because apparently earlier in the episode, I think like her mom described like, well, when I met your father, I like couldn't even remember my name. I was so like nervous. And then that's what happens to Francesca when she meets Michaela, or yeah, I think that's her name, Michaela. So I
Okay.
mean, like, so I got the vibe. Like, I was like, oh, she's like clearly has like likes her, but I was just more annoyed of the fact that we're like, oh, come on, like, so all love has to look the same. Like, that's annoying to me.
Yeah, that is annoying. Yeah, why couldn't they just be happy together?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, why do we have to make this point that like it has to like come about in this exact same way? I'm like, I don't think maybe she just liked the calmer love. Like, maybe that's okay.
Yeah. I wonder, so is she gonna get her own season, or I wonder if she'll always be like a B plot within the other seasons?
Poor girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like for a while this was all she had, and I don't know. Maybe she will get her own season. I'm not sure.
Boo.
I don't know anything else about her story except that.
Yeah.
That's all. Like, and you could tell like they were implying that she has like a crush on this girl, and you're like, oh, okay. I don't know.
I don't like spoilers, but I'm about to just read spoilers about this because they just take a while. Of course, the strikes happened last summer, but it's like they just take so long to come out, and the payoff's not worth it. I'm about to just look up what happens.
I agree. 2 years in between each season is unacceptable. For 8 episodes, unacceptable.
Unacceptable.
Do better.
Mm-hmm.
Like, flat out do better.
Like what they're like hand braiding all these wigs. Like that's taking you so long, probably.
Yeah. We used to have like 25 episode seasons a year. Like we can do better than this. These characters are going to be like in their 50s by the time the show is done. Like this is ridiculous.
I saw like the main actors, they're portraying teenagers and they're like in their 30s. Like
Yeah.
the main Nicola Coughlan, she's 38. And I'm like,
Yeah.
whoa, she looks great. But I'm like, yeah, they're gonna age. The younger kids especially too. That's like the most dramatic change
Yeah,
as
I
they
agree.
go.
Yeah, she looks amazing. Even Eloise, she's playing like a 20-year-old, and I think she's like 33. All
Yeah,
these women are like, they're not their ages. They look amazing, but there's just at some point you're like, come on, just
yeah,
just film it all. Like film
yeah.
it all at once.
Come on, you get it over with. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, give it like 4 months. 4 months, just sit in the studio and just film it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I feel like you could do it.
You're Hollywood. Come on.
Yeah, this is Hollywood, baby. Like Hollywood.
I did want to talk about Cressida because I thought it was a hot take that I liked her character. Like they were trying to make us hate her, but I just felt like they actually did a good job of explaining how complex her character is. She's multi-layered, multifaceted because from what we saw, it was a little annoying, like the drama that they brought up with her. And like then they tried to make us hate her towards the end and like then she just went off to travel or went off to find a suitor elsewhere. But I really appreciated the fact that they showed that to everyone else in the Ton, she was just coming out to be like, I want the fame and glory of being Whistledown and the money, the dowry. However, internally, what we saw was that she didn't want to get married. And so, like, she's like a woman who wants choice and freedom, which is the same as what Nicola Coughlan's character Penelope wants too. So they both have the same wants and needs as women. They just went at it at different ways. She did do it in a way that was portrayed as dramatic and uncouth, but then she was pushed out of society for it instead of like anyone having empathy for the fact that she's like she too just wants freedom. She's a girl, just like us.
That's a great point. I agree. I feel like they tried to make us sympathetic to her in the first half of the season, and then that all went to hell in the second half of the season. She was just kind of the pure villain at the end of it. And I agree. I didn't like that. I feel like we could have had a little bit more empathy towards her.
Right. Instead of like bashing this woman, this young person who's not fully developed. Yeah. So, but then I saw on TikTok people had this perspective too. So I was like, okay, other people are realizing like she deserved more justice.
She did. She did. Like she has to marry like a 90-year-old man. Like poor girl. She didn't
Yeah.
want to do that. Like she's just looking for a way out. And on top of that too, like she experiences these consequences for her actions. Like she was going to get like exiled from society and like go live with her aunt or whatever. Penelope gets outed and everyone is just like, okay.
Yay.
Just like shrug. Like at the last ball and like she gives her little speech, it's good speech, whatever. And then people like look around and then they get distracted by the butterflies and then we're done. No one has anything to say to her.
No repercussions. Like people were like looking down on Cressida and like being like, "You'll never marry anyone." And I wonder if it's because Penelope was like had the approval of the queen right away.
Yeah.
And then like she's already married, so everyone's like, "It's fine."
Like we can't do anything to her. She's married. Like
Yeah.
we can't do anything. Maybe. And the queen also giving I understand how they set up the queen, like giving up or like letting her go with that whole like chess match thing. But to me, I was also just like, what? Like she was so after this woman for so long, and then she looks at her and she's just like, nah, okay. Okay.
That was so quick. I love that. Like, they had to include that scene. Like, this is how she changed her mind. A chess game.
Yeah, it was that one little conversation. You're like, okay, I'll let you continue. That's fine.
I still understand the overall benefits. It still hurts the queen to have Whistledown exist. Yeah, I didn't fully understand like how is she benefiting from it.
I don't either. I don't get it either. And like Whistledown, how does Whistledown still work if everyone knows who she is? Like objectively, I feel like you can't have it. Like you just go up to her and be like, Penelope, stop.
Right,
Stop
that's
right.
so mean. Why? I know. Like, I kind of am not interested in watching further seasons. Like, that was why we watched The Secret. Yeah.
It just doesn't work. Like there's no because that is the part. It's like Gossip Girl. Like that is the whole thing. That's the whole point. The moment we found out who Gossip Girl was, the show ended.
Right. Because it's like, we just won't invite you to parties.
Yeah. We're just gonna ask you to stop. Like, we won't, you're just done. Doesn't make any sense.
Logistically, they didn't think about that. I don't know. Do you know if that happens in the books? Do they reveal her?
I guess. I don't know. Maybe she's not the third season, like the third book. Well, maybe she is because it's Colin. ABC.
I know
Like
that
how, I don't know.
I saw a TikTok that they switched seasons, but that doesn't make sense. True, because it's supposed to be ABC. But I heard that like they were supposed to be fourth season.
Maybe not. It might not be in order of sibling because Daphne was technically first, and Daphne's D.
Oh, you're right. Okay, so it's never okay.
Yeah, it's not necessarily in order. But I wonder who the third. I wonder who the third person was. Like the third season was. I think it was supposed to be Eloise, maybe.
It was supposed to be Benedict.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
I only know this because I saw a TikTok that like explained, and like they tried to give us Easter eggs in Anthony and Kate's season of the Switch, apparently.
Yeah, that seems like now we have like more than half the show. If they're gonna do every season, like every sibling, you have more than half of it left when we know Lady Whistledown. Like that seems kind of silly to me.
Right, that's the point. Why else are we watching this?
They'll have to come up with something else.
Yeah.
There'll have to be something else. And they had a kid. I was like, everything is perfect. Like everything works. They had a child, you know, the happy ever after. I don't know. I was just like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, why are we watching? Why are we going to continue? Yeah. If you think about other shows we see, like, it's like there's a reason to come back.
Maybe and it was a weird time skip. I loved seeing Kate and Anthony in this season. Were they necessary? No. Was I happy to see them anyway? Yes, absolutely, because they're the best. And they like would just show up, would just like make out on camera and then leave. That was basically their whole thing, which like that's fine. No complaints. But they're pregnant, like they're expecting. And then they decide they're going to go to India to have the baby. It's just the time is weird. Like I don't understand the time in this because then they're off in India and then Penelope manages to have I mean, I guess there was a time skip. I just find everything very confusing. The timing was a little strange.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Because that would be potentially a year to 9 months later, this baby happens. So within that time, Eloise is in Scotland.
Yes.
With Francesca.
Yeah, for a year.
Martin. Yeah. For a year. And then then they were in India to have their baby. So, okay. Maybe next season is like a little bit of catch up. Like what happened?
Maybe.
I'm not sure.
And like if we see Kate and Anthony again, their kid is going to have to be like at least a year old at that point.
Yeah.
If not more.
Right. Because she was already like a couple months into pregnancy. Yeah.
Yeah. Very weird. Strange decisions were made.
Now I just want to read the spoilers. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to go do that.
Yeah, I want to know about this kid. Like, yeah, I'm curious. It's true.
We got to wait 2 years? No.
So unacceptable. It is really ridiculous to wait that long. And it's funny that they're all on this 2-year cadence because like House of the Dragon just started again. And like Rings of Power is starting again. I was like, this 2-year cadence of these shows is ridiculous. Absolutely insane. Especially with a show like this that has no CGI. Like there's no special effects. It's just women in dresses. We should not be waiting 2 years.
Right. That makes sense because it's like House of the Dragon. I get it. That was a lot of.
It's hefty.
A lot of edits. Yeah, a lot of motion graphics, but these are dresses.
Yeah, these are just like fancy dresses that are clearly modern, but like we look over it anyway.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Right, it's not even accurate. You can just make this up. Just pump it out. Come on.
Yeah, literally, no one cares. Literally, no one cares. I was gonna say, I think the standout characters of the season to me were actually Penelope's sisters. I think they were the funniest.
I like their addition too, because like in the previous seasons they were made out to be like evil stepsisters, and then in this season they gave them more personality, and they were funny, comedic relief.
They were so funny. Yeah, they were the comedic relief. Yeah, they were. I agree. They were like evil stepsisters, but this season they're like sympathetic. Like we're empathetic to them. They're funny, and like that them not knowing how to have kids, like how that works. Like they're so cute.
It brought some reality to it too, because it's like they are in like a fantasy world, but it is like set in a certain time period where women weren't taught that information, and so it's like, yeah, how do you have babies? And like your schooling failed you, your parents failed you.
Everyone found you. It's true. I'm like, bring out the bugs, and they're butterflies. Just like, bugs.
That was cute. It was so minor, but so cute.
It was cute.
I didn't
Apparently, that
understand.
actress is married to the Benedict actor.
I saw that. That's so cute.
That was cute. Good for her.
But do you know what that final ball was for? Why did they have that ball?
I think they just wanted to throw a ball. I'm literally, I think that's all it was. I think they just wanted to throw a ball.
I couldn't even remember if they were talking about it, and then suddenly they're like, "We have a ball," and I'm like, "Did you ask for one? What is happening?"
They just wanted to. The two sisters were just like, "Let's throw a ball."
Right.
I think that's all it was.
That's so funny. I'm like, okay. Oh, the other balls and like dances like had reasons, and like this is the first one where it was like, we're just showing up.
We're just here to show off our money. Penelope's money, really.
Penelope's money. Hey.
Yeah. Which, that whole thing, that was a whole other plot line too, where like her mother, that guy, like the auditor or whatever it was, who like knew about their money problems and like was gonna share with the queen how they like stole the money.
Yeah.
That was like also another side plot that like disappeared for a while and then came back in the end. And I feel like we could have, that was important for the conclusion. We should have mentioned it more during the thing. Like it just seemed to like come back, disappear, come back.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm interested in it because it's high stakes, and I would have liked to learn more because I kind of forgot what had happened towards the end when they brought it up again.
Yeah.
I was like, what happened? That guy came, and I'm like, who, when? And I'm not going to rewatch the previous episode, so I'm like, I'm just going to keep going.
Yeah. No one rewatches these episodes. You just watch a little recap.
Yeah.
That's what I did.
No reason to. There's too much fluff in between.
Agreed. Well, how would you rate this from like a scale of 1 to 10? If you had to give it a rating.
1 to 10.
Okay, 1 to 5. We'll do 5-star. We'll do a 5-star rating.
It's like, okay, compared to the previous Bridgerton seasons, if it's on its own scale, this was 2.5. Compared to like content in general, I mean,
that's hard.
That's hard. Okay, so maybe if we're comparing it to like other content within this, we're too UX researchy. Okay, I'm sorry, my brain is broken. Okay. I'm like, okay, within the content that is like mindless, things like this, I mean, it is entertaining. I'm neutral about it. I'm like, James was asking me like, are you super into this? Like, this seems like mindless. And I'm like, that's the point. It's like what you just put on so when you're doing other things on your other screens. My phone is up. I'm not fully paying attention. I don't need to know the details, but it's like I'm relaxed. How about you?
I would agree, I think, with both ratings. It's probably my third. Well, I would rate this maybe better than the Daphne and the Duke season overall. I just didn't like the Daphne and Duke season as like the main plot of it. Like I didn't like oh, he just didn't want to have a kid because of his father. Like I don't know, I just felt like that was so unconvincing that I like did not care for that. So I'd probably put it like, I saw someone on Threads do this, so I'm gonna like copy them, where they had like it's season 2, number 1, Queen Charlotte, number 2. Do you remember Queen Charlotte?
It's so good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Number 2, this number 3, and then season 1, number 4. And I think I agree with that rating.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think overall like a 2.5 is fine. Like maybe 3. Maybe I'd round up to a 3, but like 2.5. But yes, so I'm just like neutral. I don't love these shows. I don't hate them. They just are there for entertainment purposes only.
Yeah. We could be fine without them.
Yeah. If they never came back, I would be like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, all right. Bring back Shadow and Bone. Yeah.
Yeah, I would be like, there are other shows I would like to come back more, for sure.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Emily in Paris. I think I actually like Emily in Paris more because it's just more silly. Like
no way. That's so funny. Actually, yes. Maybe
it's more entertaining.
Now that you say that.
Like I'm more excited for Emily in Paris to come back. I have more fun with it. I don't know.
Even though it's so silly, but like more, I feel like they just take their time with it in Bridgerton, and it's like spread out when it could have just been, honestly, it could be shorter. It didn't need to be that many episodes. And I'm like, Emily in Paris, it's like quick.
It's quick. Like, and I feel like they don't take themselves seriously at all. Emily in Paris does not take itself seriously.
Yeah.
At least I feel like it doesn't, because I don't take it seriously. Bridgerton,
they broke the fourth wall a couple times where they like kind of said like this isn't that serious.
yes. Yeah, exactly. So it's like fun. Like they're easy. They're just stupid. Bridgerton takes itself a little bit seriously sometimes.
I didn't even think about them. Yeah, until you mentioned. Yeah, that's so true. They do because all like the chess piece, like the chess episode, or sorry, chess scene where it's like we're gonna teach you like there's gonna be a deeper message, and it's like it doesn't need to be that serious. We're watching this queen. Why does she have so much power? First off, like we should be questioning what's happening.
She's doing nothing but worrying about a woman who has a gossip column. Like, go run your country.
Yeah. How's everyone doing in this country? Are people eating? Who knows?
Is there inflation? What's the cost of living? Like,
that's what I wanted. I'd watch that season over and over.
Like, how is the like unemployment rate?
Yeah.
Right? Are your serfs fed? Like
the Marie Antoinette version of Bridgerton. When? 2026. Let's watch that one.
I would watch it. That sounds great. Yeah, I agree. Emily in Paris, man, we'll talk about that when that comes back. I don't remember what happened last season because it's been like 2 years again too, but like I'm looking forward to it.
It's just consistently she's a bad friend, and I'm like,
yes, she's the villain, and
she's the villain.
That's fine. It's fun to watch. She makes such bad choices all the time,
but she's so good at social media.
So good at marketing. She posts one picture and it gets like 2,000 likes. And she gets
brands like, whoa, we never thought about that. Just hold a glass with the champagne.
Oh my god. Can you please do our whole branding for Chanel? Please. Because you posted this one picture on Instagram.
This American girl, she just knows so much from Chicago.
This American girl. I love it. I love it so much.
10 out of 10.
It's so bad. I love it.
Thank you so much for watching this episode or listening to this episode of Fangirl Feels. We are on all streaming platforms. If you go to our Instagram, we have a link tree that will take you to all the different platforms where we're streaming. We're also on YouTube at fangirlfeelspod, TikTok, Instagram. Go ahead and follow us. We also recently started a Discord, so our links again are in our link tree. Check that out. It will also be in the doobly-doo here. We are also doing a live recording of part 4 of Legendborn. We already have people interested, so we have an Eventbrite link that you can RSVP to. It's just so we can keep track of who's coming, and also that way we can send the link to go watch the video. It'll be through Google Meets, most likely. We'll be recording that, but you don't have to have your camera on. You don't even have to participate. It could just be me and Olivia watching, and you guys are there. It doesn't matter. We just want to have fun, and that's what the point of life is. And yeah, we're about to go on summer break, so we'll have our episode when this releases on Friday. After that, we will be on break, but we'll get back to you. So until then,
look out for our schedule on Instagram. We'll post it somewhere probably. But yeah, until then. Bye. Bye. Wow, my throat is so like hoarse. Goodness. Yeah, it could not work.
Is that a frog?
Yeah, it did not work. It did not work at all.
I saw you try.
I was like just scratch. I could like feel my like vocal cords like scratch. Like
no. All right. Get well soon.